Okay, and we are live. Good morning. It's good to be here this morning, as usual, on 30 minutes of dyslexia with Blessing Ingyape. If you're rewatching, please just put hashtag replay so that we know you're watching the replay. It's always a pleasure to be here and to share some amazing things about dyslexia with you. If you're just meeting me for the first time, my name is Blessing Ingyape, and I am an award-winning international certified special needs educator and a dyslexia coach. I am the founder of Dyslexia Help Africa, an organization that is very keen on creating awareness about dyslexia, training teachers on what dyslexia is and on how to teach children with dyslexia. And we also offer intervention for children with dyslexia. And welcome to one of our programs, 30 minutes of dyslexia with Blessing Ingyape. I'm so excited to be here. I'm always excited to be here. It is our joy that, the 2%, the research says that just about 2% of Nigerian educators know what dyslexia is, and our goal is to contribute to the quarter by increasing the number of teachers who know what dyslexia is. So, if you're on this group, if you're watching me, it is time to invite people on board. Invite as many educators as possible. If you're a teacher in school, invite the educators, invite them. The more we know what dyslexia is, the more we're able to help children with dyslexia. And today I want to talk about something very important. And you know, here at Dyslexia Help Africa, we offer trainings for teachers too, and we usually have these trainings and batches. Currently, we have a batch who's going through the training. And one thing about children with special needs generally, that beyond learning how to teach them, beyond learning how to offer intervention, there are other things that are really important. So when you talk about like the results I've seen with the kids I teach or the kids we tutor at Dyslexia Help E Academy, yes, the major and most important part of it is, of course, the structured literacy program, right? But there are other ingredients, just like if you're here in Nigeria, in this part of the world, and you're cooking egusi, of course, you know that the major ingredient is the egusi, right? But then there are other things that make the egusi sweet. If you decide to just use egusi, just imagine how your soup will come out. Okay, just imagine it's just egusi you're using. Imagine how your soup will come out. So there are other ingredients that make the egusi soup come out very beautiful well. And that is also the same thing with offering intervention for children with dyslexia. The structural literacy plan is there, like the egusi you're using for the soup. And then there are other ingredients like the spice, the vegetables, the oil, the crayfish. I mean, if you're not Nigerian, you're probably wondering what I'm talking about. But my people here in Nigeria understand perfectly what I am saying. So, one ingredient in teaching children with specialists generally, but of course, let me streamline to dyslexia. But as a matter of fact, okay, as a matter of fact, usually when children come in for intervention, the first thing you want to do is manage the behavior. Because if a child's behavior is not managed, it's going to be hard to sit the child down and teach the child that most kids with dyslexia, let me not say most, but some tend to have, matter of fact, when you dig deep, it is what I call defense, especially in school. They've gone through a lot. I know a particular 20-year-old who the last born, who is about the younger, not the immediate younger brother, but a younger brother who is about 16, had to meet him in the same class. That's the SS3 class. it was really humiliating for him. Defense, they tried to be tough, and it's because they are hiding under a mask. So if you have that kind of a child, I mean, they are tough. They believe that, what, this school thing is not just for me. So if you want, say I'm not going to pass my exams or whatever, I don't care. So they've come to that point where they don't care at all. And when you're working with an individual who doesn't care, it's just like people usually say, it's like trying to kill someone that doesn't care if they're alive or dead. I mean, that is not going to be a threat to them. So you see a lot of behavior. If you're working with that kind of child, you want to first of all calm down and work on that behavior. Because if they don't believe that they are intelligent, if they do not believe that they can learn, then there is absolutely nothing you will do that will make them learn. So it will be like pouring water in a basket. You're offering intervention, you're teaching them the right strategies, but nothing is working because they don't care. They don't want to know. They're not interested. So it's very important. Yes, thank you, Peace, for joining me. I'm super excited you're here because this is a plus, and that's what we always talk about. Um, the the 30 minutes of dyslexia being very important in the inner course we take, because there are some things that will be taught here that will help you fit well into what you're learning, and this is one of them. So behavior management, you want to first of all manage the behavior. Yes, there's a structural literacy program that of course start teaching the child step by step, but if a child doesn't want to, they don't believe they can learn, they don't care, no matter how good you are with your strategies, method, they will not work. So you need to work on behavior. Okay, a few points I mentioned here. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Facebook user. I can't see your name, but thank you for joining me. Thank you, Patience Akandi, for joining me, and every other person that I can see right now. So, in managing behavior, when you start, okay, it's important that you have classroom rules. I'm sure if you're an educator here, this is not new to you. It's important you have classroom rules. Now, classroom rules build up depending on the child's behavior. So you don't pick a class rules from another class and dump it on your child. When you're offering intervention, when you're working with a child or kids with dyslexia, ensure that the classroom rules you're having are focused mainly or birthed out of your relationship with the child. So, for instance, if I have a child who keeps saying, I can't do it, we're going to have a classroom rule that says, saying I can't do it is not allowed. Saying negative words is not allowed. So you're not allowed to say I can't do it. You're not allowed to say I'm dumb. You're not allowed to say I'm not intelligent. You can have classroom rules. If the child answers in a particular way that is not appropriate, you can say we are not allowed to use these words. Okay, so those rules, and they keep growing. Okay, and make the kids a part of the rule. Don't make it look like it is something you're coming to enforce on them. At the beginning, you'll be surprised at the rules they'll give you. I remember when we're setting rules for a particular classroom, the kids were the one bringing the rules. They say no kicking. They say because this particular child is always kicking, so no kicking. They say, and you're always looking at my food, so note this, note that. So you can see with that we're able to get lots of classroom rules, and of course others that they won't mention that you have noticed as a teacher, you can put them down there. So having classroom rules is important. It also helps your student know what is expected in their class. Like class starts by 10, depending on how old the child is, you're meant to be here by 10. So coming late to class is not allowed, it's not permitted. And then when you have your rules, having just your rules is not okay. Now, these rules that we have, if you break them, what do we do? Consequences. So you also work on that with them. Thank you, Amarachi, for joining me. Amazing ladies. Thank you. So now, if this rule is broken, what do we do? What is the consequence for breaking this rule? And ensure that when you set these rules, you make the child a part of it. Of course, they are not the ones that are making all of the decisions, but it's important to involve them. You'll be surprised that sometimes they really can even be helpful, not knowing what is lying in the future for them. So, what are the consequences? Because if you're giving consequences, It should be consequences that are really consequences to the child. So for instance, you don't you don't choose, how do I put this? Okay, so for instance, you say, if you don't do this, your snack is going to be taken away from you. What if it's a child that doesn't care about their snack? Although personally, when I'm giving consequences, I don't like using food. Okay, I love to work more with other things. What what if the child doesn't care about snacks? So it's important that whatever consequences you're using are consequences that pinches, that get into the soul of the child. An example is a student whose favorite thing to do was to swim. So we use it as a consequence. In school, they would swim every Friday. So she had a book. If you had more, so for each time she went against our rule, she'll get an X. For each time she obeyed our rule, she'll get a tick. So at the end of the week on Friday morning, we're going to count how many ticks you have and how many X you have. If you have more ticks, yay, you're going for swimming. But if you have more X, you're not going for swimming. And every day she's reminded. So for instance, today is Monday. She has two ticks and one X. I show her. So at the end of the class, you have, excuse me, you have two ticks and you have one X. So great job. By Wednesday, maybe she has 10 X and five ticks. I'm like, you need to work harder. You really need to be a very good girl in the remaining 2 days if you need to go swimming, because you can see, right? You're having 10 X's and just five ticks. If this continues, you already know the deal. And what's the deal? I won't go. I won't go swimming. Of course, she knows the deal, so she'll say. So she's going to work really hard to get it. Now, this is where behavior management comes in. When we did this the first time, she thought I was bluffing. So she really didn't work that hard. On Friday, she came. I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Your X's are more than your ticks, so you're not going swimming." She did not believe it. Oh my God. She threw tantrums in school. Like when the boss, she was literally rolling on the floor. In fact, the mom had to call me to ask me that what happened. She heard this happen, she heard that happen, she heard this happen. And I was explaining to her that, see, I'm not happy that she's rolling on the floor. Of course, she was not beaten, she was not flogged. But she needs to understand that I am not bluffing. And that's the thing about rules. If I had allowed her go swimming, because she just begged me, she would think that, okay, next time I can just beg Miss Blessing too. So that was not even a punishment, but that was like a statement understand that this is our rule. We've been going through it from Monday to Friday. Believe me, that was less ticks. Okay. Okay, please, another example, banning a child from watching television. Yes, that also works. In fact, digital is very, if you can use TV, screen time is very important, because on a normal day, children even have too much screen time. So you can take that advantage and put them out of screen time. It's a consequence, but it's also a good thing that you're doing for them. So it is important that you stand your ground, and then it's also important that you're not too hard. So for instance, sometimes this particular girl will have five ticks and eight X's, that I can see that she has been really working hard to make sure that she gets her ticks. Maybe by Friday she still couldn't meet up. But I can see, of course, they are working hard, they are obeying you, they are just being sweet and all nice. But at the end of it all, they still have less ticks. In times like that, I try to give them extra tips because I can see that they are putting in their energy. So don't be a taskmaster. Like, don't be let your aim not be to punish. Okay, when you give consequences, let it be from a heart of love. Okay, let it be from a heart of love. So have consequences and then have rewards. That's one thing that I've realized that most people do not do. Yes, there's a consequence for coming late to class. There's a consequence for not submitting your homework. There's a consequence for using a negative word. But what is the reward? And you need to have a system that gives a reward, okay, and ensure that the reward is way, way higher than the consequence. Okay, I'm right to say it is a 50-50 for a child with special needs. When they are involved in classroom, it's easier to let them face the consequence of their own. Exactly. So you include them in it. So what are the rewards? Okay, ensure that your reward is way, way higher than the cost. Okay, I'm back. So ensure that the reward is higher reward. So like my student then, wristwatches. We'll ask her, what do you want? So at the end of the month, there's a way we're going to calculate it. If we've seen that this month you've really been a good girl and you've really tried your best to be of your best behavior, you're going to get a wristwatch shoe. So my God, where am I going to go get proper shoe from? But I mean, those rewards. I mean, even you, don't you love rewards? Even adults, you love rewards, and you're going to enjoy working more with a boss that rewards you. You know, I'm a leader on different fronts, and most time when I talk with people, they're like, if it's bad thing I've done now, they'll query me. Then now that I've done this good thing, nobody will say well done, no. So you can see that even as adults, that affects us. So how much more children? So ensure that you give rewards, okay? And give them rewards that they like. Don't assume like a t-shirt. When I sent a package to one of our kids in another city, you know, the t-shirt there was the most expensive. The t-shirt there was the most expensive item in that box, right? But there are other things that were really cheap. But those were the ones that he liked the most because, like, there was a Ben 10 wristwatch, there was one face mask, something. The t-shirt was not his business. He was more interested in the wristwatch that was not even up to 1,000 naira, and in that max that was just about 250 naira or so. So the reward is not your reward, okay? Work with things that the kids love, things that the kids want. All right. So I hope you learned something today. Behavior management is very important. Okay. And for you to see results in the kids you're teaching, you also need, aside from the fact that you're using your structural literacy program, you're using your methods, all of the methods, you need to manage behavior because a class that is not organized, a child that doesn't know what is expected of them, that is everywhere, that who doesn't believe they can learn in whatever way the behavior is coming from, you need to fix that before they can settle down and learn. Okay, P says rewards, having extra playtime, giving out vouchers for the child to get something from the school talk shop. Yes, amazing, beautiful. Okay, you'll be surprised that a child will prefer public chicken. They prefer to go and play outside the kids love, okay? And at the end of make sure it is coming from a heart of love, not trying to inflict pain. Of course, you know that here at Dyslexia Help Africa, we frown at beating kids as an educator. I personally don't believe that it is your job as an educator to flog kids. Now, I don't talk about parents. I'm talking about as an educator. The child was sent to you not to go and flog. Okay, and I'm hoping that one of these days we'll have a full train on behavior management. You're teaching children in the 21st century. You need to realize that some things that worked on us will not work, and the truth is that some of those things did not even work. You know, when people say they flogged me, but did I die? You don't know what that did to your esteem, your thoughts. You never can. Maybe that's one of the reasons why you can't even speak in public well, or you're shy or you can't express yourself because somehow those floggings like pushed you back into your shell. You never can tell. So this is the 21st century. That worked for us, great. But you're working with different, should they call them Generation Z, right? Believe me, it is more painful for you to even take a child's device from them than for you to flog them. I have a child that will say, just flog me. It's better you flog me than for you to take the device away. So there are more rewarding methods to, give consequences these days than having to inflict pain on the child's body. More rewarding. So don't be that teacher that says, maybe I just spoke about this and you're like, coach, bless him. When it comes to flogging, I do not agree with you. Don't be that kind of a teacher, but be that kind of a teacher that asks that, okay, so if I don't flog, how do I get them to behave? Now that is how someone who wants to learn behaves, and that is or that is how someone who wants to learn acts. Yes. So instead of being defensive, you ask, so I shouldn't flog, so what should I do? That will be a topic for another day. But thank you so much everyone for joining me. It is time for me to zoom up. Thank you, Amarachi, for being here. I really can see you. I can see a number of people online, but I can't really see you until you comment. Thank you for engaging. Peace, all the people in my intensive training. I mean, you have learned something. Just share it with your team because this is very important. We've been talking about the structural literacy program and where to start from. There are some keys that even when you start from where we say you should start from, you might still not see any results. Why? Because you're struggling with behavior. So you might need to pause and work on behavior or do two of them together. So you have learned something today. So feel free to share it with your friends on the training group. Thank you, Facebook user. I can see your name, and that is because you have not given StreamYard the permission to show me your name. So there is a link attached to this video, this live video. After now, just click on it and fill it up. And in any event that you appear on, in any StreamYard event that you appear on, your name will show. But after now, I'll get to see who you are. Thank you, Patience Akande, Amarachi, awesome lady. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Okay. Okay, P says, I agree with you on buying things a child would like. Appreciate. I once bought a basketball court of 11K for a people. He played with it for a week and didn't touch it again. Oh my God. On the other hand, I bought another people a Barbie doll of 3.5 and it meant the world to her. Exactly. That's great. And wow, you're an exceptional teacher. When you talk about just spending money on their students, that's another topic of the day. But I always say that if you really want to stand out in making a difference in a child's life, you cannot always say, and the school did not do this, and the school did not do this. That child is in your, these kids will remember you more than they remember the school. They remember the impact you made in their life personally more than the school. So sometimes just take out something out of your pocket, and offer help. Okay. I mean, look at the teacher here buying a bucket of about 11,000. I mean, that's just for one child. So let's not even imagine what she has done for other kids. And I always say this, it's hard for you to teach as an educator and not to remove your money and do something for your kids. Don't always wait for your school, okay? Do something for your kids. Reward them personally too. Okay, so I'm off. Oh, sorry, patience. Network was a little bit shaky here too, but I believe you can watch the replay after now. Bye, everyone.